All right, it is all yours. Thank you all
All
for
right.
being here today. We've got Education at Work here to tell a little bit of a story about some of the great opportunities they have available. So we'll turn it on over to them.
Yeah. Thanks everybody for having us. I'm Rushy Billings. I am the account executive for Education at Work. And I think we should kind of start off by going around and introducing ourselves and telling a little bit about ourselves. Obviously, I'm talking, so I'll start. Um, I got my first start at Education at Work 10 years ago, believe it or not. Um, I started off as a student on a program that we had, and then 10 years later, I came back around as the account executive, and this company and its mission means a whole lot to me. So, thank you guys for having me. I'll pass it off to Eliana.
Hi, I'm Eliana. I am a student success coordinator here at EAW. Like Rashi, I also got my start as a student. So when I graduated high school a couple of years ago, I started as a student advocate, and since then I've worked through a couple different departments and kind of found my home here in student success most recently. But I'm really excited to talk to new students and hopefully build some excitement for our program. Pass it off to Mylan.
Awesome. Yeah, very similar story to Eliana. I started as a student employee with a previous line of business. And yeah, I worked my way up after I graduated. I ended up taking a professional staff position as a supervisor. And I have now transitioned into a position with the student success / recruiting department, where I am a coordinator. And it's been a really great experience. Definitely a lot of opportunities to grow here at EAW. So
I guess I'll go next. My name is Ben Liam. I'm the VP for Student Success and Recruiting. I have the pleasure of kind of leading the group with Marlon and Eliana. There's a few more folks on our team. I've been with EAW. It'll be actually a year in a few weeks. So time has gone by pretty quickly. I was previously the VP of Ops for one of our other lines of businesses. I transferred over, and I can say that the passion for the mission is always there. Everyone that I talk to, they love the mission. What I like to think is that we are the teaching hospitals for kind of the corporate America. Teaching our young adults and our what I call pseudo adults to become young professionals. So they are the ones that will be leading our industries pretty soon. So I'm really excited to be here. Pleasure meeting everyone, and look forward to working with everyone.
Elizabeth.
Hi, everybody. I'm so sorry that I vanished. I am Elizabeth Woosley. I am the Vice President of Operations. I have been with EAW for 8 years, and I've had the great fortune of working with some very talented Cincinnati State students in the past.
Awesome. Thank you guys for sharing. Ellie, if you don't mind sharing an overview of EAW, kind of sharing who we are, what we're about, and what we're accomplishing.
Yeah, I'd love to. Thank you. So here at EAW, we are a national nonprofit organization. Our focus is generally on helping students graduate, and our mission is to do that with less debt. So we do that by providing, as Ben mentioned, some quality professional experience and training, generally in a call center contact center setting. So we'll offer office positions on behalf of Fortune 500 companies, such as the one that we're here today to discuss, and that gives our students the opportunities to earn up to $5,250 a year in tax-free tuition assistance, which is paid directly to your college or university. So our tuition assistance program is one of our greatest draws, so I'll talk a little bit more on that. We have a earn-as-you-go tuition assistance program, so the longer you work here, the more tuition assistance you're able to accrue, and we do this on a semester basis. There are 3 categories for earning tuition assistance. The first is hours worked. So we have our students work a minimum of 20 hours a week in order to earn that tuition assistance metric. We also look at your grade point average over the semester. So if you're applying in the fall for tuition assistance, we would look at your spring or summer grade point average to see if you qualify for that metric. And lastly is your job performance. So we do keep track of how you score as an employee based on your client's individual metrics, and we'll use that as our third performance factor in your tuition assistance accrual. Generally, we see that our students will leave EAW having accrued $6,000 or more in tuition assistance, but it does greatly vary on how long you're with our program and how you're meeting our different performance factors. In addition, our students on average have $15,000 of less student loan debt than their peers. So we're seeing that this is a program that we greatly believe in and also greatly benefits our students.
Awesome. Thank you, Ellie. Mylan, do you mind sharing about some of the current openings we have right now that's available?
Absolutely. So the main position that we are looking to fill right now for Cincinnati State students is the first financial bank advocate position. Like we kind of touched on earlier, you will be in a contact center environment. You're essentially the first, contact point, the first kind of smiling face, or I guess voice in this case, for the customers. So you have sort of basic account privileges and the ability to edit certain customers' profiles, and then anything beyond that you would typically transfer to another agent. And I'll hand it off to Elizabeth to describe it in a little bit more detail.
Sure. Thank you, Mylan. The First Financial program is a job that is 100% remote once training has been completed, and training is in person. Typically, it's 2 weeks. We do have a class beginning on July 17th that will run 37.5 hours a week for 2 weeks, and training will be finished on the 28th of July. As Mylan referenced, the initial thing that everybody will learn is how to authenticate, or how to verify that the person on the other end of the phone is who they say they are. Then they'll learn how to take basic checking account and savings account questions. And most importantly, the bank is rolling out a new online banking platform right now, and they will be trained to answer questions about that. We also currently have 5 back office positions that 4 of them are a typing job. They are literally looking at documents on their screen and rekeying them into a client-approved format and then routing them where they need to go. We've had students tell us that this job is their relaxation of the day. They can put in headphones and just type away. Accuracy, of course, is important and is always monitored, but that is what we have available right now.
Awesome. Thank you, Elizabeth. Does anybody have any questions? Garrett, Heather?
Hey, it's Garrett. I guess the question is, when do other jobs get posted? How often does that happen?
You're muted, Elizabeth.
Yes, thank you, Rishi. Garrett, that's a great question. Typically, we know months in advance when we would be running a training class. We're a little bit slower now, which is causing us to be more sort of ad hoc. But typically, we know when a training class is going to run, and or we know when there's a back office opening.
Do you have any timeline on that?
I wish we did. Unfortunately, we don't at this moment, but I do anticipate having a clearer timeline by the end of June. And we are hiring for First Financial right now, and we'll be continuing to hire for that training class through the end of the month.
Okay. Follow-up question: are all the positions remote? Are they always remote?
Yes, First Financial will always be remote except for training. Fidelity currently is remote, except they do require 1 week a month on site at their Covington branch. And they'll know ahead of time what that week will be. It's an assigned week every month.
Okay, thank you.
So Garrett, I'll go ahead and put a link in the chat for you and for anyone else interested. This is just going to be our job posting link. So as we have more jobs and positions available, we will always be posting them to this website. So you're able to check that out, keep an eye on it, and see as our different positions that may interest you become available.
Any other
Thank you,
questions?
Garrett. Yeah.
Where is the training at for the First Financial?
It's at their Springdale location. It's right where 275 and Route 4 come together.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so if you know where Papa Do's is or where the movies are up on Route 4, they're right there.
Yeah.
Really easy to get to.
Really easy to get to. And it's a beautiful environment. They'll be happy to be there.
Well, and then last thing, I will also upload into the chat the tuition assistance information, just so that you guys have that. There we go. Cool. Yeah, just sent that in the chat.
Thank you, Mylan.
Would you all mind talking a little bit about one of the things I think is so unique about you all is that you understand that these folks are students. Would you talk a little bit about that and what that means to your organization?
Sure. I think one of the most important things about the way that this is structured is that dual level of support that the students have. So they're education at work employees representing the client while they're working. So the goal is that the person on the other end of the phone doesn't know that they're a college student or that they've been doing this for 5 years. Typically the client will train. So First Financial would do the training. TJ Poloquin, who's a team member of mine, an associate of mine, has sat through First Financial training. So he is available to help and support. And that's very much how this works. First Financial will manage the students day to day on their performance. We meet with those managers bi-weekly. We coach with the students once a month, and they coach with the students once a month. So we are available to do things such as set up a schedule for them for finals week. So really, quite frankly, they're not calling us the day of the final and saying they can't come to work. So I think that that's the most important thing, Kelly, is the students know that they can go to First Financial, they can go to us, and everything will be consistent.
Yeah, and off the back of that as well, I think it's really important to note that we always will work around your school schedule. So, you know, we when you apply, there's a question that asks you to upload your school schedule, your semester schedule, and we will always work your 20 hours of work around that schedule so that it won't interfere with classes. And, you know, the part of it where it is on you a little bit is to make sure that, you know, when you have finals come around each semester, a lot of the times that doesn't align with all of the classes that you're taking. You know, sometimes final exam time slots are a little bit different, and it is definitely your job to let us know when those roll around and what times those will be. But the bottom line is we are always striving to work around your school schedule.
Right.
Right. Like Elizabeth and Mylan have said, our workforce is entirely based of students. So aside from our pro staff, which a lot of them do have wonderful experience that they're willing to give back to our students because they believe in our mission, our student workforce is entirely that, students. So we gear towards employing students because we understand what it means to be a student who needs to work and go to college at the same time. We understand that that involves different challenges and different barriers to students who maybe only need to focus on one. And so all of our staff is trained and is mindful of those requirements, especially with regards to finals or the beginning of the semester, making the transition from high school to college or making the transition from college to the professional workforce. So there's assistance in all of those different transitions. And you have the community of all of your coworkers being students as well. So as a student, I've found that it is really nice to have a place where I can come to work and not only receive professional development from my supervisors or the directors, because that's what they're here for, is to help you become a polished professional in the workplace, but also to receive support from my other coworkers who understand what it's like to come to work for 20 plus hours a week and then go home and study for 20 plus hours a week and try to have a social life or some fun in between. So the entire EAW community is focused on building successful students.
Absolutely. We work very hard, for example, to make sure that there is more than enough time between class and the start of a work shift or the end of a work shift in class. I will tell students regularly a half hour is not going to be enough time, so that we make sure everybody is set up to be there on time and to start, put their professional hat on and get going right off the bat.
Exactly. I've had a similar experience as a student. I've had my current boss now tell me that I need to work less hours because I need to focus on school. Everyone is very supportive of school first, job second, success overall as the primary focus.
Right.
I'll also add, Kelly, that it's a competition, right? You're in college, you're competing against your fellow peer right next to you. There are other companies that offer tuition assistance. We all understand that. Starbucks offers a tuition aid program as well, right? The difference is when you look at EAW and you look at someone that went through Starbucks to do their tuition aid. I am a hiring manager. And so experience almost trumps education in a lot of different aspects. And when you are able to kind of put down on your resume that you worked at EAW, representing these Fortune 500 companies. So like for like, if I have 2 resumes, both of them are 4.0 students, both of them are active in their community, both of them have done equally exceptionally well in school. The only difference is this one is a barista. This one has worked with top 500 companies in the United States working for, First Financial Bank or Fidelity. As a hiring manager, if I'm looking at that, to be honest with you, I will tell you that my eye is going towards this one here. And so that is kind of the competitive edge that we're able to give our students when they graduate or even when they're still in school and they happen to find that one perfect job in their field.
To pick up on what Ben is saying, both Fidelity and First Financial Bank want to hire these students after graduation. They're not looking for a student to put in 2 years, 3 years of experience and time and then walk out the door. So another thing that distinguishes us is that we work very closely with every graduating senior and with the clients to find that right position.
Yeah, and I can echo, we've noticed that does happen. So to the students that are on, yes, it's true. We have noticed that does happen. We've also had a few of our students, because of our connections to other colleges, that have taken this experience and gone on for their bachelor degree. So they've been able to continue that work and do those. Yeah. So there are lots of different ways to kind of parlay this, and they are telling you the truth. I cannot lie to you. They are telling you the truth. So.
I like to think that we are prepared to support the students on every level.
To our students out there, any other questions or anything that we can answer for you today to make sure you're aware of this opportunity? I am going to post all of this out into CareerLink, so you will have access to this. We're going to be putting the video out there, also the links and the other information that were shared with us today, so you all will have access to that. I'll be working on that in just a little bit, but I appreciate everybody being here today. Again, the deadline, the information is out there in terms of the job posting already. So please go visit that. And if you have questions after the event, I'm happy to get you back in contact with anyone and help make sure your questions are answered.
Kelly, feel free to include my email address in that.
Okay, perfect.
And if somebody has any questions, don't hesitate to send me an email and we'll talk them through. I know sometimes there are questions that you want answered one-on-one, and that's perfectly fine.
Great. Well, thank you all for taking some time with us today. We really appreciate it. And it's really great to hear what great things are still continuing to happen at Education at Work. So thank you all so much.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you,
Guys,
Kelly.
we'll
Thank
look
you so
forward
much
to
for
seeing
having
your
us.
applications.
Yeah. All right, everybody have a great day, and we will talk to you soon.
All right.
Alrighty.
All right.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, guys.
Thank you.